Hello, my dear students. This is the third video on building material and construction on module 1. We have already discussed on classification of rocks, the requirement of stones. Now, next is dressing of stones. Dressing of stones is a very important topic. The naturally available stones from the quarry are irregular in shape and size. In order to bring them into a desired shape and size and finish, they are dressed. And this process is called dressing. Dressing of natural building stones provides a good appearance and makes them useful for masonry works. Okay. Stones after being quarried are to be cut into suitable sizes and with a suitable surface. Even this process is known as a dressing of stones. With respect to the place of work, dressing can be classified or divided into two types, and namely quarry dressing and side dressing. When we do a dressing at the quarry, then it is said to be as a quarry dressing. When the dressing is carried on the site, then it is said to be as site dressing. What are the advantages of dressing if it is carried out at the quarry itself? At the quarry, we can use the local resources, locally available labors with a minimum wages, so that it can produce some employability for the local people. And the next one, it is possible to sort out stones for different works if quarry dressing is practiced. The regular and rough portion of the stones are removed, which decreases the weight of the stone, and it also facilitates easy transportation of the stones. The stones, when quarried freshly, contains quarryspun, that is nothing but the moisture, and hence they are comparatively soft and can easily dressed. These are the this is the very important factors or advantages of dressing at the site. The next one, the next part is the okay. Let me know what are the different types of dressing. Here, I think there is no different types of dressing. Let me explain the different types of dressings. There are certain different types of dressings which are practiced. The first one is axed finish. Axed, A-X-E-D, axed finish. The surface of hard stone such as granite is dressed by means of axe. Such finish is termed as an axed finish, boosted or dropped finish. In this type of finish, the booster is used to make a non-continuous parallel marks on the stone surface. These marks may be horizontal, vertical, or inclined. Booster is a chisel having an edge of width about 60 mm. Next one is chisel dotted margins. In order to obtain an uniform joints in stonework, a margins are placed which may be either square or pitched or chamfered. The next one is circular finish. In this type of finish, the surface of stone is made round or circular as in case of a column. The next one is dragged or combed finish. In this type of finish, a drag or comb, which is a piece of steel with a number of teeth, is rubbed on the surface in all directions. This is suitable for only soft stones. The next one is the molded finish. Molding, I think many of you have heard the molding of a stone. Usually for a granite or a marble, they usually do the molding. The surface of stones can be molded in any desired shape so as to improve the appearance of the work. The molding can be made either by hand or a machine. The next one is hammer dressed finish. In this type of finish, stones are made roughly square or rectangle by means of Waller's hammer. The hammer dressed stone are irregular corners, no sharp edges or comparatively even surfaces so as to fit well in a masonry. Plain finish. Next one is a plain finish. In this type of finish, the surface is made approximately smooth with a saw or with a chisel. The next one is polish one. Polishing is also known as a dressing. Polish finish. The surface of the stone such as granite, marble, etc. can be polished either with the hand or with a polishing machine. Next one is tooled finish. The surface of a stone is finished by means of a chisel and parallel continuous marks, either horizontal, inclined or vertical, are left on the surface. These are the different types of dressings which are carried out, or different practices which are carried out in the dressing. Next, I'll move to the deterioration of stone. How decaying happens in the stone. Okay, what are the causes which deteriorate? Or there are certain causes which will deteriorate the stones. I'll explain those, all the deterioration causes here. The stones, when it is exposed to various weathering actions or external agents, the deterioration will happen in the stone. Following are the causes for the deterioration of the stones. First one is the alternative wetness and drying. The stones are made wet by various agencies such as rain, frost, dew, etc. Such wet surface is dried by sunlight. It is found that stones subjected to such alternative wetness and drying within a shorter period, within day, it is getting wet and getting dried itself. And this process of drying and wetness continuously, then the stone starts deteriorating. That wearness will come in the stone. Wearness will come very quickly. The next one is impurities in atmosphere. The atmosphere contains various impurities such as the acidic rain fumes, which will adversely affect on stone. For instance, the acid and fumes are predominant in industrial areas. These impurities act on carbonates of lime and causes the deterioration. The chemical composition of stones will directly react to the atmospheric impurities and deterioration will take place here. So here the constituents, the chemical composition plays a vital role here. The next one is the living organisms. Some living organisms like worms, bacteria act upon stones and deteriorate them. The organisms make holes in stones and thus weaken them. They also secrete organic acids which have a corrosive effect on stone minerals. And the next one is movement of moisture. If a stone of a different variety such as limestone and sandstone are used side by side in the same structure, see we are using these two different stones in the same structure, then this problem will occur. If a stone of a different variety such as limestone and sandstone used side by side in the same structure, the chemicals formed by the action of atmospheric agents on one stone may move to the other and will cause deterioration of both the stones. Next one is the nature of mortar. The nature of mortar used as a binding material in stone masonry may be such that it may react chemically with any one of the constituents of stones and thus it may lead to the disintegration of stones. Next one, rainwater. The action of rainwater on stones is twofold, physical and chemical. The rain wets the surface of the stone and it is dried by sunlight. Such alternative wetness and drying results in the disintegration of the stones. This is same as the first point. Alternative wetness and drying if rainwater comes, if rain happens, definitely there will be a wetness of the stone. Then immediately, if there is a sunlight, then it gets dried. This wetness and dryness in a shorter period, then this will cause the deterioration of the stone. Next one is temperature variation. This usually happens in a winter season. Okay, in a winter season, what happens? Most of the time, it is cooler. It will be having a low temperature, and at the midday, it will be a higher temperature. Due to that, the variation in the temperature will come. The rise of temperature results in expansion of stone. The fall of temperature causes contraction of stone. This is the volumetric reduction or volumetric expansion. I am talking about the volumetric expansion or the contraction here. As the temperature rises, there will be an increase in its volumetric volume, that is the expansion. When there is a fall in temperature, there is a reduction in the volume. If rise and fall of a temperature are frequent, the stones are easily deteriorated because of the setting of internal stresses. The next one is vegetation growth or vegetative growth. The creepers and certain trees develop on stone surface with their roots in joints between the stones. Such roots attract moisture and keep the stone surface damp. At the same time, they try to expand. Such action accelerate the decay of stone. Say, when there is a gap, when there is a crack in the stone, in between those cracks or in this between the joint, usually the vegetation happens and the roots will expand in the joints. The roots will penetrate and the cracks will elaborate, and due to that the decaying will happen. The next one is wind. The wind contains fine particles such as dust. If it is blowing with a high velocity, such particles will strike against the stone surface, and thus the stones will be decayed. The wind also allows rainwater to enter the porous areas of the stone with a force. Such water on freezing expands and splits the stone. This is also a deterioration. That's why these are all the factors or causes which will influence the deterioration. How this deterioration can be prevented? How this can be preserved? Let's see how it can be preserved. Preservation of stones. The decay of building stones in interior is to some extent prevented if they are properly preserved. For this purpose, the preservation are applied on the surface of a stone, and ideal preservatives can be used. The choice of the preservative depends upon the chemical composition and location of the structure. There are certain properties to be kept in the mind while applying the preservatives. The first one, it does not allow moisture to penetrate the stone surface. The preservatives, when we are using, it should not allow the moisture to penetrate into the stone surface. This we have to keep in our mind. Such preservatives are to be used. Then what should be the quality I am talking now? It should not develop objectionable color. The color should not get altered. Whatever the original color is there of a stone, it should maintain it. Or it should not fade the color. And it should not harm the hardness also. The hardness in its hardness it should be maintained. It is easily it should be economical. Okay, it should not easily get penetrated into the surface of the stone. It should be a non-corrosive and harmless. It should remain unaffected for a longer period after drying. These are the certain points while choosing the preservatives. We can also say what quality of preservative should be used. There are certain preservatives which I am naming here. Those are coal tar. If a coal tar is applied on a stone surface, it preserves stones, but the color of cool tar produces objectionable appearance, and surface coated with a color tar absorbs heat absorbs heat of the sun. Hence, this preservative is not generally adopted because it spoils the colors of the stone. But still, it can be used as a preservative. But in generally, these are not adopted because it fades the color or it completely spoils the color of a stone. Then next one is linseed oil. This preservative may be used either as a raw linseed oil or a boiled linseed oil. The raw linseed oil does not disturb the original shade of a stone, but it requires frequent renewal. Frequent renewal means after a period again you have to apply. Again a particular period you have to apply. So we have to maintain that. Usually once in a year actually. The boiled linseed oil lasts for a longer period, but it makes the stone surface dark. That means it will alter the color of the stone. The next one is paint, which we generally don't use, but for building work, when it comes to the compound work or a face work, we apply of our own choice color as a coloring pigment for a stone. An application of a paint on stone surface serves as a preservative. The paint changes the original color of the stone. It is applied under pressure if deep penetration is required. The next one is perfume. This preservative may be used alone or it may be dissolved in naphthalene and then applied on stone surface. It changes the original color also. The next one, solution of alum and soap. The alum and soft soap are taken in proportion about 0.75 normality and 0.5 normality respectively, and they are dissolved in a liter of water. This solution, when applied on stone surface, it acts as a preservative. The next one is solution of baryte. A solution of barium hydroxide, BaOH2, when applied on stone surface, acts as preservative. This is used when the decay of stone is mainly due to calcium sulfate. Keyword: solution of baryte is used when the decay of a stone is mainly due to the calcium sulfate. The barium sulfate ID ion soluble and it is the least affected by atmospheric agent. These are the certain preservations which are used in the to preserve the stones. This completes the first bit, that is the stone. I will be stopping this video here. Thank you one and all. In the next video, I will be talking on bricks. Thank you.